Oh, there's a lock-picking minigame? What? I completely forgot that there was a lock-picking minigame. Oh my god, that's amazing. And as somebody who just bought some lockpicks, right, I've been watching... There's a YouTube channel, which probably everybody's heard of, but there's a YouTube channel called The Lockpicking Lawyer on YouTube. With millions and millions of subscribers. Just beloved YouTube channel from what I know of. But I've only recently started watching him. And he's great. And I've really enjoyed it. But it has convinced me to fulfill, like, a childhood ambition that I had playing Thief and, you know, playing rogues in D&D and stuff like that. So, of learning to, like, lockpick things. So I have bought some lockpicks. Are you, I'm gonna guess, Killy.
Bravo.
It's Killy!
In time. The others are waiting for you inside. When you are ready to leave Hobbiton, just open the door to the Green Dragon Inn.
I don't like it when dwarves don't have Scottish accents. I think all dwarves should be mandated to have Scottish accents. It just makes sense to me. I don't like it when they don't. It's like in Dragon Age when they have American accents. It just feels wrong. Like, hobbits should be West Country or Welsh. Humans can be, like, no, humans should be Northern, like Sean Bean style. Right, they should be sort of Northern. Elves should all have received pronunciation. They should all sound like English aristocracy. And then dwarves should all be Scottish. It's just the rules of fantasy. I didn't make them, but I will enforce them. Okay, anything around the back of this or anything that I should be worried about? Anything on the roof? This seems like a game that would store, like, gems on the roof of this. No. You don't see thatched buildings as much anymore, do you? There is a very famous bar right next to where I live. Not right next to, but it's within 15 minutes of where I live. Called the Old Thatch. And it's famous just because it's like it looks like this, basically. Like it's like a medieval style, fantasy looking building from hundreds of years ago that still has the, like, big thatched roof and pillars and stuff like that. I've never been inside it, I think. Oh no, that's not true, I have. But not often. It's kind of seen as a more fancy place now, I think.
Let the journey begin.
Was that it? We didn't find any of the... Oh, I may have skipped some stuff, actually. We got 76, we got a decent amount of them. We only did 9 of 23 quests. There were 23 quests. 23 of them. Excuse me? Well... Oof. Oh, I can buy stuff. What can I buy? A skeleton key. Use these to bypass... cures all poisons? I should buy an antidote, I think. What else? I can't buy anything else. That's fine. I should buy an antidote, though, because I already have a health potion. I didn't remember that this was in the game. I didn't remember that there was, like, a whole system of doing this sort of thing. Like a Resident Evil shopkeeper or something. Cool. Well, leave vendor.
He regretted leaving home almost immediately.
Me
in
too,
the dangerous
Bilbo.
lone
Me
lands,
too.
they found themselves cold, wet,
It always seems like such a
and
good
low on
idea,
food.
but it never is.
Suddenly, Balin noticed the light of a fire. Thorin sent their new burglar, Bilbo, to investigate.
Yeah, it's really cracking along in the plot, isn't it? I think this is the trolls. Oh, I felt wrong saying that. It's the trolls. Okay, I mean, I like all the rain. Now, this is the last point where I have vivid memories, I think. Unless I've forgotten something and it will be unlocked when I see it. But I have a vivid memory of me eventually going across some bridges here. Like, yeah, like what you see.
Now it's the bird.
Oh, are you Thorin?
Scuttle off and investigate that firelight. See if it's safe.
They've made Thorin kind of look like a mean old man, which I guess is better than making him sexy Aragorn, like they did in the Hobbit movies. God, I hate those movies. But yeah, I have an image in my brain of going across these bridges and stuff. Like doing maybe like a lever action thing, and then climbing down and doing some like sneaking through patches of leaves, and never quite understanding what I was supposed to be doing. So I think that might be as far as I got. Anyway, Bomber, you're the only one of these I recognise aside from Thorin, so hello.
Oh, I wish you'd burgle us a nice hot dinner.
I stole you so much food.
Starving.
Like, so much food.
The hunts in the lowlands are different than your kindly shire crop. Some of these leaves have teeth.
I mean, the pony's eating them fine. It's quite a cute pony, I'll give it that. Okay, I think we're done. I don't really feel like talking to all of these men. Who are you? Keely.
Rain. I'm catching cold. Could you please bring me a Burberry plant?
What is a Burberry plant? Bring Burberry plant to Keely. Find a Burberry plant. Fine, let's go. You?
Tell Bomber to stop grumbling.
Is that a quest too? Can I just tell him to stop grumbling? What about you?
Hunts in the lowlands are different than your kindly
Owen and
shire
Glowin?
crop.
Or Owen and Glowin,
Some of
I always
these
used to say.
leaves have teeth.
These movies are the biggest disappointment of my life, except maybe for the Dark Tower movie. I heard Dark Tower was unforgivably bad, and it's a series that a lot of people love. I never read it.
Supplies are low after one of our ponies took fright and bolted.
Should I get you more food, maybe?
Don't like these.
Okay, never mind. But yeah, I would say that the Hobbit movies are some of the biggest disappointments in movies. Like, there's been some really disappointing movies throughout the years, but I do think that the three Hobbit, the bloated messes that were the Hobbit movies kind of take it for me. Because The Lord of the Rings, I've said this before, The Lord of the Rings are probably some of my favourite movies of all time. I think they're genuinely amazing. Can I hit you with a rock, please? Doesn't seem like it. Oh, I can! Lovely. Was that a Burberry plant? I have no idea. I imagine that's what they meant when, you know, they...
A wolf? Certainly doesn't look as friendly as our Shire hounds.
Where's the wolf? I don't see this wolf you've just mentioned. Whatever. But yeah, the Lord of the Rings movies are probably top 5 favourite movies of all time. Oh, he's right there. Never mind. What was that? Oh, I mean, that was pretty easy. Oh, I gained some more health. Was that a level up? Maybe that was a level up. They basically merged all 7 of the books together in the Dark Tower and left out 2 of the main characters. Oof.
Wolves! One was bad enough.
It was, Bilbo. I don't know if there's really much of a way for me to dodge, so I'm kind of just plowing into them with the stick. There we go. Maybe I'll figure out ways to dodge, like, oh, I can jump back and stuff and side to side. That probably would be a good idea. Pretty much the opposite of what they did with the Hobbit movies. The Hobbit movies are the most bloated movies I've ever seen. But actually, that reminds me of a, what's this, coins? What is the justification for finding coins this time? Oh dear, I fell. That does remind me of, there's a book series, one of the few kids' book series I read when I was a kid. Because I kind of skipped that phase. But one of the few was the Darren Shan novels. They're like, I think they were called the Vampire's Apprentice novels, something like that. And they're very trashy, like, vaguely horror, young adult fiction books. I wouldn't really recommend them much, but they were fine, and I liked them up to a point. I don't think I read all of them, but I read, like, 6 or 7 of them. But they adapted them. The Vampire's Assistant used to love those. Yeah, like, Cirque du Freak, I think, was the first one. And I remember they adapted those into a movie. I don't even know if it was very widely released, but they made them into a movie with John C. Reilly playing the vampire, whose name I can't remember, which is maybe the worst casting of anything ever. Basically, like, truly awful, like, baffling casting decision. John C. Reilly, you know, famous for, like, Walk Hard and, like, the voice of Wreck-It Ralph and lots of other very good things, but very much not what I would think of when I think of, like, a suave vampire. But anyway, these movies, or this movie, they only made one of them because it did so badly, but they adapted the first 3 books into one movie, cut most of it, and just rearranged all the things and rearranged the characters. So very similar sort of thing. Obviously, I think those books are less beloved than the Dark Tower series, but I remember it was one of my first experiences of going to a movie and thinking, this is unwatchable garbage. Like, you know, I went with a couple of people and they hadn't read the books. And I went, oh yeah, they skipped to the end in a few places. That was it. They had stuff from like the 12th book or something in the first movie. But we're still considering doing sequels. I was like, clearly they didn't have much confidence in this. Hello, Pixel Coin. They ended in a random monkey girl? I think so, yeah. I haven't seen, oh, that's health. Lovely. Wait, is that Thorin? Who are you?
Those legends
Balin,
look
the old
treacherous,
guy.
Bilbo. If they're too far apart, use your walking stick to help you jump.
Oh, it's going to teach me
Good
about
luck,
jumping.
Bilbo.
Cool. I've already figured it out, old man. Yeah, like, with the hobbits, I can remember about 3, right? There's Bombur, who is fat, likes food. That is his personality. There's Thorin, who is serious and the leader. And then there's Balin, who is old. All the others are completely dispensable. Like, they don't matter. They don't really figure into the plot. They're just kind of there. But yeah, I hated that movie. It was an early example of me seeing a movie and going, oh, this has ruined something I like. Also, 2 other early examples of that is, I always say I never really read many young adult books, but the couple that I did read tended to get turned into movies because, yes, I understand, because they, you know, they were trying to search for the next Harry Potter, right? They were like, oh, we're going to have the next Harry Potter on our hands, so we're going to do Percy Jackson, we're going to do... The one that I saw was Eragon, which is not a good book. Like, looking back, it's a pretty trashy book, right? It's not exactly the most stimulating read you'll ever have, but I enjoyed it at the time when I was a kid. It's a book about, you know, fantasy dragons and stuff like that. It's all fine. But I read this book and thought, and then as soon as I finished the book, a movie was coming out. And I was like, oh, I really like this book, and the movie's coming out. I'm going to watch it. I think Liam Neeson might have been in it, and then nobody else of import. But anyway, I watched this movie, and I think ranted to my family, because I was very young. I think it was the first time I've ever ranted about a movie. Like, I spent the next week talking, probably to the annoyance of my family. Also, what is this cicada background noise? But ranting to my family about how much I hated this movie, and about how they had ruined this book. And how they had completely messed up all the characters and changed everything about it that was good. It was a bad period for movies, I think, the early 2000s. Anyway, who wanted a berry? You wanted a berry, didn't you?
Oh, thank you, Bilbo.
Okay, cool. Can you please stop playing the sound effect, maybe? Because the sound effect is driving me insane. Oh, I took some damage there. That's probably bad. Okay, I think I can just climb up this now. The Hobbit 2003. Yes, it's the Hobbit 2003. You know what? I don't know if I could recommend it so far, but it is bringing back a lot of cool memories for me. I think maybe I'll do, like, more of this sort of thing. Like, play old games that I remember vaguely from childhood. Actually, a game that I wish I had waited till I started playing things on stream to play was Simon the Sorcerer. Because I beat that, I think a couple of weeks before I started streaming, I beat that game. Another game that was bought for me by my dad as a kid. And the graphics are low. This is the highest the graphics go, my friend. This was just what games looked like. But anyway, this game, Simon the Sorcerer, from the 90s, I think? It's from like the early 90s. It was a 2D adventure game. But I played it for probably like 30 hours as a kid and never beat it. Because I just did not understand what it wanted from me, essentially. I was like, what are the answers to these puzzles? Why are you being so obtuse? And then played it again as an adult, and it was great. I really loved it. This is the memory I have, by the way, closing off this sluice. I don't know why I did that, really. It didn't really explain in the plot why I would do that, but sure. Anyone around? Oh, there's stuff up here. Yes, I can pole vault through this. I'm waiting for more monsters. I haven't really seen any monsters. Oh, there's a key. Oh, I can bypass a trapped chest. Cool. I thought that might be like a plot relevant key, but no. Oh, I remember. You have to like zip line across or something. Weird. What are you? I don't think these are in Tolkien. Can you play FIFA 2001?
What?
Absolutely no chance. No. Number one, I don't like FIFA. I played FIFA a couple of times. Number two, I absolutely despise football. Like, I cannot stand football. I hate the thing. I was forced to play football very, very, very briefly as a kid. And my dad briefly watched it, and I think my brother briefly watched it. Very briefly. They were much more into rugby and golf. Like, they're extremely into rugby still. But, yeah, I just never understood football at all. Like, it just seemed like the most... Oh my god, the sound faded away. And it's back. God damn it. I had peace for a second. Hell yeah, rugby. Rugby's alright. I'll watch rugby if it's on. I'm not really a sports guy, but... I mean, being Welsh, it makes sense that you'd be into rugby. They're quite good at rugby. But yeah, Ireland is much more into rugby than football. But Ireland... You can still find people who are very into football. Like, I went to college with a guy who was... who ran a very successful, apparently, fan page for Liverpool, I think. But yeah, there's no Irish football teams, really. Like, there's literally... They exist, but they're not good. You know, they, The Irish football teams... I'm actually going to turn down this sound effect thing, because, my god, it's killing my brain. There we go. So much better. No, don't exit the game. Are you serious? Rugby is like our only sport in Wales. It's one of the only ones in Ireland. If you're not into rugby in Ireland, you're either into football, which is a smaller demographic, but definitely there. But if you're not into football, you are into, like, the traditional Irish sports. You're into hurling, and you're into Gaelic football. Like, that's kind of it. Can you play Minecraft 2010? I don't know why I would, is the thing. Like...
Perhaps I could make my way across.
I guess I don't 100% understand the appeal of playing, like, old Minecraft. Aside from nostalgia like this. So maybe I should shut up, because that's the entire reason I'm playing this. Never mind, I understand it now. Oh, they're fighting against the wolves. I should probably just leave them to it, right? Or maybe what I should do is fire rocks. Like, can I hit these with stones? Oh, I can sort of reach, maybe. If I aim higher. Oh, look at that! I can actually hit them. Okay, I'm not a great aim. I have never been, like, a fantastic aim when it comes to, like, FPSs. But, I mean, one I can take out now. Let me just hop down. Or not. Come on, just hit him. Hit him, please. There we go. There's health around, so that's fine. The old music and sounds. I did forget that they changed those. Oh my god. I forgot how annoying this could be. There we go. Sometimes there is like 8 of those little mini-games. I remember. This is bringing back some great memories. I'm really enjoying this. I don't know if it's coming across, because I think I'm riffing the game a bit, but this is great. I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been that into sport. My dad did the very stereotypical dad thing at one point, right? Where he forced me to play sports for a bit. Where he was like, you are going to play golf? Which I absolutely despised. My god, I hated it. I hated playing golf more than anything in the world. And then he made me play football for a little bit, which I also didn't like. And then, what else? Oh, I was very, very briefly, for like 2 weeks, I played Gaelic football. And similarly hated it. I was never into sports as a kid. It's one of the ways in which I'm very stereotypically like a basement-dwelling nerd, is that I really hated sports. For a while, I went through that edgy, like, oh, DAE sports ball kind of phase. But past that now, thankfully. Golf is good. Now I can see that golf is fine. Like, I've played golf since I was forced to play it. And it's fine. Like, it's not terrible. Just, you know, it's a game that is kind of fun sometimes. It's just that I was enrolled in a country club. And, oof. I hated the people there. They didn't really like me either. It was just a really unpleasant time for everyone involved. I would never go back. It kind of poisoned golf for me a little bit, unfortunately. That lockpicking reminds me of Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. A game that I've seen played a lot by YouTubers, but never played myself. I was forced to play soccer when I was 6 or 7. Every match I would get the ball booted into my face. The other team had 10 to 13-year-olds. Yeah. That's kind of a problem as well here, is, Excuse me? Excuse me? I have swum in this game before. I've at least pedaled. I didn't realize that that killed you. I thought you just have to, like, climb up. That's why I didn't bother jumping.
Water level? Perhaps I could make my way across.
Yes, you mentioned this before. Oh my god, I'm deeply ashamed of myself there. But yeah, that's a very similar story to mine, is forced to play sports as a kid. Eventually they just kind of gave up and were like, maybe he's just not gonna play sports. Maybe it's fine that he just stays in his room and plays video games. Which it wasn't. I wish I had gotten into sports more. Although, I don't know, I wish I had gotten into certain sports. Because there's a lot of bad sports. You can't see, I'm putting my hands on my hips in anger. Right, fine. Fine. Would you play Roblox next stream? I did make a Roblox account. But...
If I could just...
Oh, please skip. I did make a Roblox account. I will play Roblox at some point. Again, almost as a nostalgia thing. Maybe I'm just becoming addicted to nostalgia. But I do remember playing Roblox around the same time as I played this. When I was like... Well, probably maybe even a little later. Probably like 7, 8. So I'd be interested to see how it's changed. Because, you know, I've been seeing... People have been posting images in my Discord of like... Look how much Roblox has changed. And look at the stuff you can make in it now. So it does look kind of impressive. Man, I am a bad shot, it turns out. I have 1 stone left. And I've missed. Cool. Well, we're going down there, I guess. I'm gonna go down here. And then we're gonna drop down safely. And then we're gonna... Oh, I like that little animation. And then we're gonna go over here. There we go. Lovely. There's only 1 left anyway. No, there's not. There's 2. Should be fine. I'm not a sports person, to be honest. I don't know. I just find it boring, if I'm being honest, sports. Like, I used to be very much of the why would you ever play sports? It's dumb kind of option. You know, where I would be the edgy. I was a nightmare when I was a kid. When I was in secondary school, I was like the worst. I was almost like the stereotype of like a Redditor, where it's like an edgy atheist who's like anti-sports. Just very, very obnoxious person. Oh, I keep clicking to try and open this. Oh, another health potion. That's probably very useful. I don't know how to use those, but could be useful. Oh, I did see that when I made the account on Roblox. I did see that one of the top-rated things was a game called Build a Boat for Treasure. And it immediately hit me as, like, something I'd be interested in. Because the only games I can really remember playing in Roblox, really, were those games where you, like, build a base and survive the apocalypse, or build a raft, or build a boat and go down this river with lots of obstacles. It's very fun. So that would be fun to do for... I wouldn't promise a series on it, but, you know... Yeah, exactly. I'm not anti-sports, I just don't prefer them. Can I go down this as like a slide? No, that would be fun. I very rarely do... There's no water parks in Ireland that I know of, but I went to a water park in America once and thought it was genuinely great. Like, really, really fun. I'm guessing it wants me to go onto this rope, right? Oh, no! I'm sorry. I misclicked. I hit space twice instead of once. I'm so sorry. Oh no. Well, one more time, I guess. I also prefer combat, which can be a sport, I guess. So I guess I like one kind of sport. That's kind of what I mean, is that... I remember when I signed up to secondary school, I was like, maybe this is when I get into sports, right? Because I am... on the pamphlet for my secondary school, because, you know, not like they needed a pamphlet, really. That was a good shot, by the way. Not that they really needed a pamphlet. It was the one secondary school in my small town, because they consolidated all of the secondary schools into one big secondary school with 1,000 students or more, right? So they handed out this pamphlet to us at the end of 6th year in primary school. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. They have archery. They have, like, you know, martial arts. They have horse riding. They have all these cool looking sports. Like, archery was the one I was most interested in. And, you know, a couple of things like that. And then I went into the classroom for the first time, and they were doing, you know, orientation. And they went, oh yeah, that was That was just like default stuff that we put on the card before we decided. There's actually only rugby and football and basketball. That's it. That's all you get. And also, basketball is only allowed to be played by the girls. So really, it's just like, do you want to play football or do you want to play rugby? And I was like, no, I tried those and didn't really like it. They were like, well, you're out of luck. All of the interesting, weird ones we got rid of. Javelin was the other one. It was javelin, archery, and horse riding and stuff like that. And then when I went to the school, I was so idealistic. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I can go up to the school. And then I walked into the building and it was just like grey bricks with clearly no funding. And I was like, they're not going to have archery, are they? I would be very, very surprised. Okay, do not die again. For the love of God, please don't die again. I'm tempted to just, like, save as soon as I go up here or something, but I don't think I can. I think you have to use the save points. That's something I'm glad has kind of disappeared from a lot of modern games, is save points. I think the ability to save whenever you want to is just a really nice thing. And I don't think people appreciate it enough. Because it seemed like games, even if they could do it, because they could, by 2003 you could do that. It seems like they were just really adverse to it. It's like that, it's like the artificial difficulty thing of that was kind of a hangover from arcades. Now, I'm too young to really remember arcades, but I know that this was a big problem in early gaming, was even when things went to home console for the first time, because game developers were so used to developing for arcades, they would make them really difficult and have specific checkpoints to increase the length, because that's how you made money on arcades, so you could get more quarters. They put it on a pamphlet, yet when you get there they don't have it. I hate when that happens. That was my school in a nutshell. I actually went back to my secondary school recently, a couple of days ago actually. Not to study, because, you know, I'm 25 years old. That would be very depressing. But, because okay, I can go back and save, at least. Because I told my girlfriend a story about how anytime we went out for lunch during the school day, we would just see rabbits milling around, like hundreds of rabbits, just kind of walking around and chilling out in the grounds and stuff like that, and it was all very nice and cool, and you just, like, point out rabbits, and everybody would go like, yep, those are rabbits. Well done. Oh god, don't die, please, for the love of God, don't die. But, so she dragged me up there, because it's only like 5 minutes from my house. But she dragged me up and was like, show me these rabbits now. And we did see some rabbits. It was a little bit rainy, but we did see lots of rabbits milling around. But I don't know. The secondary school, it was grim. Like, it was a grim secondary school. Nobody liked it. It was billed as this, like, ultra-modern thing, right? Where you would go in and it would be like, everything is stainless steel and glass. And it's modern architecture. But you could tell that they had cut corners because they hadn't painted the building. Like the one 3D platformer with fall damage. Yeah, I'm really getting annoyed by it, to be honest. But you could tell that they didn't have any, or that they had skipped corners because there wasn't any paint on the walls. So like, from the outside, the building looks really nice. Like, it's quite a nice building with lots of like sharp angles and modern architecture and slanted roofs with like a Sydney Opera House style fan on it. But then once you go in, it looks like a prison. Like, everything is grey cinder blocks. It's pretty bad. And then the floors were really cheap. The buildings were really cheap. The building quality was really cheap, so the walls were all kind of crumbling, even though it was a new school that was built before I went in. And they were constantly running out of heating oil. So, like, all of the classrooms were frozen for about 6 months of the year. It was a bad time. It was just a really bad school that I have really bad memories of. So I wasn't really happy to like, see it again, to be honest. But the rabbits were nice. This is gonna suck, by the way. I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate every second of doing this. Oh god, damn it, what am I gonna do here? Okay, I should just be able to do like a short little jump, right? Like this? There we go. Oh, I hate this. I really genuinely don't like this. I might be able to just sprint jump this. But no, I should do this first. Now I can get there, okay? Like this. Okay, fantastic. I really, really thought it was going to be harder than that. Looks nice, bad infrastructure. Yeah. I know, there was a lot of scandals at my school. Not like proper scandals, but like... They, about halfway through my time there, when I was in 3rd year, just completing the junior cert, I remember people being very, very angry at them, right? Because they... Oh, this is probably the way to go, I think. What are my quests, by the way? Investigate the light. The light is over this way, I think. Or is it this way? I'm not really sure which way I'm supposed to go. But I remember about halfway through, right? They built this €50,000 modern art sculpture to like use up their budget so that they would get equal funding next year, was the accusation. But they built this modern art sculpture in the courtyard by the front door. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, it was kind of mocked a bit, but nobody really cared that it was there. You know, it was one of those things. But then, about 2 months later, they announced that they were out of heating oil. And they, Oh, this is the trolls, I think. Okay, let's go back and get these... No, I don't need all the gems, do I? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just power through. But they announced about 2 months later that they were out of heating oil. And I remember the parents, like, agency or whatever was like, are you saying that you spent 50 grand on a statue and didn't buy heating oil and instead bought the statue because you thought it would look cool? And the principal was like, yeah, sorry about that. And they were like, that's not really enough. Like, that's... Sorry isn't really good enough for that kind of thing. So yeah, that sucked. The building was frequently very cold, I remember. Let me jump on here. Jump on here. Okay, the jumping is not as bad as I remember it being. I'm really bad at platformers. A lot of the 3D Marios have fall damage? Seriously? The only 3D Mario game I played is Mario 64, and I never finished it as a kid. I'm very good at build a boat for treasure. I have lots of blocks. Oh, here we go. We're trapped.
Huh. Can't go back now. Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know about the voice acting in this game.